Butterflies that I've never seen before that just would not leave both my head and the mums alone. They just flurried all afternoon around my deck. And this morning I got up and went out on my deck to see how warm it was and thought, that's kind of a strange looking stick on my deck. And it was a walking stick, which in 39 years I've never seen in Wisconsin. Apparently they're around here, but I've never, so I took pictures of that this morning. So I was enjoying the beautiful morning this morning. Today's invocation will be given by Frank Parado, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please bow your head. Lord, it is good to recognize how different we are. Our talents, our dreams, our backgrounds, our occupations. And it is good to know that when you created each of us, you broke the mold. No one is exactly like anyone else. Even our thumbprint, our voice track tell us how unique we are. Yet we thank you that we can take these differences and mobilize them for the good of Rotary and our community. In our differences, we can think the same thoughts and move together toward a common goal. Bless us as we meet together. Thank you for our individuality and also our common bond.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will sing the Marine Cattle Cry.
We have a few guests with us today. Lori McCutcheon has a guest.
Kathy Kexel is back with us again this week. She spent the weekend helping me pack and get everything sorted because I leave tomorrow, so I thank her. Plus she's making up for the Rotary meetings that she's missing in North Carolina. So, okay.
And Nick Gilbertson has a guest today.
I have Laura Roggenbauer with me today. She's our event coordinator at the Armory. She started with us last month, and just want to welcome her to Janesville. She moved down here from Wausau. So.
It's a good hometown.
I don't know if I see our exchange student. Danny Wu here today? Oh, there he is. Welcome, Danny Wu. Annual Students of the Month, Nick Gilbertson has a student.
This is Alexandria Rail. She's a senior at Parker, and she'll be giving her presentation on October 24th. So she'll tell us a little bit more about herself then.
John McCauley has a student.
Hi, this is Derek Masters. He's a senior at Trek High School, and he also will be giving us a little speech about himself on the 24th of October. Welcome, Derek.
Ross French has a student.
I'm very pleased to introduce the club to Katie Beaster.
Yeah.
We got it now. Beaster. 2 weeks or now. We're going to hear from Katie right now. So,
Right now?
right now.
Right now. Okay. Well, this is new to me, I guess. I'm Katie Beaster. I'm a senior at Parker High School. That's said. I just turned 18 this like a couple weeks ago, and I guess I'll start with my father is John Beaster. He is the band director at Parker High School. He's been my teacher for a few years, so I get to see him a lot. My mother is she also works for the district. She is a special ed aide at Edison, and so she works primarily with autistic kids. It's her passion. She likes that. So I guess they've inspired me to go into education, being my teacher. As far as school goes, I consider academics very important. I have a 4.0. ranks for an average. My freshman year, I didn't go into high school expecting to achieve great things, I guess. It just sort of happened. Like, I put enough time and effort into my work that my first semester, my first year, I got a 4.0. And I just figured if I could do it then, why not maintain it and graduate with it? Because obviously I could do it. So I'm pretty committed to that. I am the Vice President of Parker's Student Leadership Council. I was elected representative to the school board for this year. I don't know if you guys living in the community understand the hardships we've been going through lately. Last year we were all pretty active in the school board decisions. However, this year, with all my commitments, I sort of let that fall by the wayside. I gave that up to one of my friends. But student council is pretty important to me. I spend a lot of time doing that. Also, I play soccer year-round. I started my freshman year. I don't know, I've never played before that, but it's something that I'm in love with, absolutely. I could change my life. But I can't play now because I recently got injured. So, senior year, going out, decide. I have done various plays and musicals at Parker. It's not like my passion, but I like it. It's a good thing to spend my time doing when I'm not playing soccer or doing homework, I guess. After high school, I plan on going to either UW-Madison or UW-Eau Claire. I want to study social sciences. I'm really interested in sociology and like history, things like that. I want to either be a history teacher or an admissions counselor in a college or a school psychologist. I don't know. I don't have everything planned out, but I guess we'll see what happens when the time comes. So I think that's it. Thank you very much.
And Bruce Mansell has a student.
Rotarians, please give a warm welcome to Caitlin Bell, senior at Craig High School, and she also is going to tell us about herself right now.
Alright, hi, my name is Caitlin Bell, like Bruce just introduced me. I'd like to first just thank all of you for this acknowledgement. I really appreciate the acknowledgement from this, and it means a lot to me to be noticed for the hard work that I put into my academics. I'm a very goal-oriented individual. I would like to think that a big part of my personality is constructed from my supporting family. My parents are Katrina and Peter Bell. My mother works at Angie International in Milton, and she's an engineering services consultant. And my father works recently, he just moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, to take a job as a creative director at the Tombers Group. I have two younger sisters, and my first sister is Sarah. She's 14, and she's a freshman at Craig High School. And my youngest sister is Kayla. She's 10, and she's a fifth grader at Adams Elementary, where I also attend. My goals for college later in life have always motivated me to get involved in school. At Craig, I've been involved in many groups. Student council, also like Katie. I'm a class secretary, and I've been that for 4 years now. I'm also involved in National Honor Society, French Honor Society, National Art Honor Society, Wheel Club, French Club, Art Club, Wing Crew, and I was a part of the Janesville Guides last year. I was also selected to attend the YWCA Women of Distinction Luncheon by Dr. Spiegel, our principal, last year. And my sophomore year, I attended the Rotary Leadership Conference, which is through this organization. In the Janesville community, I work as a hostess at Applebee's, and I've been there since August 2010. So if you guys are ever hungry, come and visit me there. I've helped run the American Red Cross blood drives through the student council, and we actually have one coming up at Craig on Halloween, and I plan to donate for the first time then, so I'm nervous about that, but we'll see how it goes. I've helped with Echo Food drives, and I frequently volunteer at pancake breakfasts for local organizations through Applebee's as well. Being involved in the various service groups that I am in currently, I will also have to complete service hour requirements, so that will help me to be more involved in the community. Aside from what I do at school, I find an interest in photography, one of my passions. I really love taking pictures and just using, I have a lot of old cameras and things like that. I read a lot and I love traveling. I've been to France and that trip inspired me to make a life goal to try to reach all 7 continents. Lastly, my future schooling career and career plans include majoring in photojournalism, which will be combined 2 of my favorite things to do, and hopefully studying at the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities. I've applied there and 3 other colleges. I've only heard back from 1 with acceptance, so we'll see how the others go. My dream job would be to be a National Geographic photographer. That may be a long shot, but I would dream. I'd just like to say again how thankful I am for this award. I really appreciate you all listening to my little speech. Thank you.
Harris Thatcher has an announcement.
Vocational Day 2 weeks from today, October 17th. We have 2 places already filled up, but we have 3 available that can take unlimited numbers. And those are the Janesville Gazette Printing and Distribution Facility, Soderbach Associates, and Mercy Health Systems. Both Badger Vet Clinic and St. Mary's are filled. Last week, each had a chance to give a 2 to 3 minute presentation of what you can see there. We won't do that again today, but if you have any questions, you can ask me or one of the hosts. I will send around sheets again today for those who did not previously sign up. You can look at, make sure your name is in the right place. They're all alphabetical, but please pass them along promptly so everybody who didn't sign up can. So on October 17th, no meeting here. You'll report to your host location between 11:30 and 12, and they will greet you and serve lunch at their place. And that's about it.
Here are financial statements on your tables for the corn roast. Pretty much all of the expenses are in now. We're hoping to get a few more of the Rotarian donations in, but just to give you a rundown, we obviously had a great day of the event, making way more than we did last year and exceeding our budget by over $6,000. So wonderful day of. Our sponsorships were down. We know the economy is down, and so the bottom line, we ended up making $39,829 with a budget of $41,100. So we're just slightly under, and I think, again, with the way the times are here in Rock County, to say we came that close to budget is just fantastic. So a great round of... There you go, because I think Ms. Hal Rob here, that was like, I want to say he almost tried to round it up to 2,000, did he not? So that would take us to budget. So way to go, guys. It was a great year. Thank you so much to Lissa Myrie and Linwood and all the chair people that hosted, that put all this effort into making this year go again so smoothly. There's 2 more fundraisers coming up. Hopefully both will be a lot of fun. We are planning a polio fundraiser on November 14th when Jan Nichols is here. She is a polio survivor. It's joined with the 4 Rock County clubs and the Stoughton Rotary Club. And it's going to be a Packer game on the big screen at the Armory. I want to give a big thanks to Mick Gilbertson. He's opening up the Armory on a night that's closed, letting us have the big screen TV there. It's going to be open to Rotarians, their friends and family. And I'm having a meeting tomorrow night at the Armory with the committee to discuss all the finals, and then next week we'll have sign-ups. We're going to have a football pool, $10 buy-in to get on the pool for a chance to win I think it was $100 at first and third quarter, $200 at half, and $300 at final. Club winning a $300. We'll have Add 'em Up pools the night of. I'll explain more of this stuff next week. We are looking for, I'm hoping about 80 in attendance from our club between Rotarians and guests that we bring. So we'll have sign-ups. It's just $10 for the night of. That includes light appetizers. There will be cash bars, so you can purchase drinks there. If you don't sign up ahead of time, it will be $15 at the door. Let's see. We are looking for $100 sponsors for the event. On top of what Nick's already done, he's also volunteered to be a sponsor. Settlers Bank is also a sponsor. I'm hoping for about 15 sponsors at $100. All of that money goes to, the way that it's going to be divided up is the Packer pool that we have for our club and all the sponsors will go in our name to Rotary International for polio. And if you donate $100 and want to be a $100 sponsor, say you can't be there but you want to make a donation for $100 to polio, we will make sure that you get credit at that at the RI level that shows you made your $100 donation for polio. So our goal overall this year is $3,000 to raise money for polio. We're hoping to do that through this event and through some sales of some cookbooks we have coming in. So if you're interested in being a sponsor, please let me know. I want to get those lists done soon so I can get flyers done with people's names on them. And if you'd like to join us at the meeting tomorrow night to find out more details or help us finish planning, feel free to do so. It's 5 o'clock at the Armory. The other fundraiser we have coming up, of course, is the Rotary Fest. That's going to be Monday night, December 5th. And last year we netted $14,000 for this event. That's roughly a little over $100 per Rotarian. This year we really want every Rotarian to be involved in some way. So think of things that you can do to help us meet a comparable goal to what we did last year. That can be things like donating your time, getting people to come to the event and spending money, you coming to the event and spending money. We need items donated for the auction. Be creative. Things that might make good Christmas gifts. Perhaps you have an offer to sell off one of your children, for example. I'll give you some examples to some of the selling people things. There are seniors who have a lot of leaf raking to do in the spring. Perhaps you have a capable teenage son or daughter who needs to volunteer some time to the community that could sell off a block of 4 hours to help a senior rake leaves. So that's an idea of something that we could auction off at the Rotary Fest. Perhaps you have a skill that others may be interested in purchasing. For example, maybe you're a really good chef and you could offer to cook for a dinner party. There's no limit on what we could do creatively, so please start thinking of ideas. I came up with one yesterday as I made my world famous barbecued spare ribs. I'm going to be bottling up Heather's top secret, highly confidential, barbecued spare rib sauce and barbecued dry rub, and have them in gift baskets for you to purchase, along with a recipe of how to make the ribs, not my recipe for the sauce or rub. So just think of ideas like that that might be creative ideas that we can easily do, that's not going to cost you a lot of money, that can make money, and that would be neat Christmas gifts. We will have a lot more on that in November when we actually do a program, but just trying to get you to start thinking of ideas. So that again is December 5th. And now with today's raffle.
$22 in here today at $99
I'll donate this to the Rotary Foundation for Polio Plus. I'll give them the first donation.
And now to introduce our speaker today, Michelle Matthews.
During our visioning process, we had several different leaders and coordinators from all around our district. And one of the comments that was made was you've got to get the speaker to come to your club. You know, her name is Tatiana. She's from a club in northern Wisconsin. You have to get her. Nobody ever told me what she was going to speak about. Nobody ever said this is her area of expertise. I, of course, wrote down her name amongst many other notes and made contact with her right away. So Tatiana and I have been communicating back and forth now since, I can't remember actually what the date was, June. And I'll be quite honest with you, her and I never talked about what she was going to speak on. So as we anxiously filled spots, because I have the worst track record ever as incoming president for speakers and canceling at the last minute, we talked on Friday, we got her here, and she walked in, I said, what are you going to speak on? And she says, I don't know, what do you want me to speak on? So I will tell you that Tatiana is very, very well versed on getting up in front of Rotary clubs. She is from a club that's very small, only 20 people. And so she's going to come up and talk to us about her club, some of the different things that they do, and also about her exchange program that they have. And actually, she is from Brazil. So she has lots to talk about. So welcome, Tatiana.
I was very excited when I got invited to come to speak at the Janesville Club because I've heard a lot about all that you've done for exchange program. So first of all, I'd like to thank you everybody for all your efforts for bringing the students in every year. My name is Tatiana and I'm from Brazil. My sister was an exchange student in 1997 and Rotary has been a part of our family life since I was a little kid. My father is a Rotarian. My mother is a Rotarian also. She was the first woman to become a Rotarian in her club. And next year, she's going to be the first woman president. And she is still the only woman in her club. So that for Brazil, it's huge. Most of the clubs are still all men. So I'm very proud of her. Last year, I got the chance to be the president of the Hurricane Rotary Club, and I get a lot of this question: how a Brazilian ends up being the president of a club in the U.S. In Brazil, everybody's really proud of me. So I thought, I better do a good job here. With the help of Dave and Mary Cassins and the wonderful Rotary Foundation, last year we were able to do a matching grant with Brazil, and we sent them $16,000, and that was for an institution that works with kids with disability. They take care of these kids. Most of the families, they all live on minimum wage, and most of the families have a really hard time holding jobs because they have the care for this disabled kid. And this institution was started by businessmen in Brazil, and it's heavily supported by the Rotary Club in Presidente Prudente in the state of São Paulo. Well, they noticed that they were able to get a lot of activities to the kids, and speech pathologists, and have some activities, but they noticed that the kids were not well nourished. These kids were not getting enough food at home. They decided what it is that they need to do to be able to provide these kids with nourishment so they could really take advantage on everything else they had to offer. So they contacted us and they asked if we could do a project with them to build a refrigeration system and furnish a kitchen, because the club in Brazil would be able to get the donations for all the food to be served to these kids. So I contacted Mary Cassins and also with David's help, and we did a partnership with the Hurricane Club and the club in Brazil. As you all heard, my club only has 20 members, so our budget is not very big. And we didn't know how could we really do this. So I went and I presented the project to my club, and they thought, oh, we can't do this, it's not gonna fit our budget. So I went around some other clubs and I asked, and I told them, this is what this project is about and this is what it's for. It's to provide food for these disabled kids. And I got the Rotary Club of Columbus, the Rotary Club of Mayville, the Rotary Club of Beaver Dam to help us fund that project. And about 2 months ago, they finished everything, and since then, every day, they serve 100 meals. So we're very happy that we can do something like that. How did I get involved with Rotary? My sister was an exchange student, so I came here. I wanted to be an exchange student, but by the time we had, so I said, oh, we had never had an exchange student in my city. We had never had an exchange student in my region. But I heard about the project, about the exchange program, and I told my father, I want to do that. What do we have to do that? So we did some research, and we started all that was needed to be able to have a program. When that was all done, I was over 18. So I couldn't come as an exchange student. But then my sister could, and my sister was here in 1997. My other sister was in France for a year. And when my sister was here, I came to visit her. And when my other sister was in France, I got a chance to go visit her there too. Rotary has opened a lot of doors for my professional career. I was an attorney journalist in Brazil, and I got offered the opportunity to go cover the Soccer World Cup. And for that, I needed to practice some other languages. I'm fluent in Portuguese, English, French, and Spanish, but at that time, I needed some fluency. So what I did is I contacted some Rotarians in Germany, in France, and I just told them, do you know of anybody that I can job shadow or that I can have some contact? And through that, Mr. Didier from France said, oh yeah, I know the right people. And they got me in contact with all those people. I got to job shadow in Europe for 3 months. And after that job shadowing and practicing those languages there, I said, now it's time to go to the US, and I'm going to practice some English. So I came here to visit my sister family in Horicon, Wisconsin. And that's how I met my husband. So through Rotary, I got to find my husband. And we had the pleasure to host 4 exchange students in our home here in Horicon. And one of the girls, she was from Brazil, and her name was Natalia. So when we had our firstborn, we named her Natalia. So Rotary has a lot of impact in our lives. About 4 months ago, my father was here visiting, and somebody asked him, if you knew now, how do you say that?
Yeah, we do that.
Yes, would you still become a Rotarian? Because my father has a huge passion for his grandkids, and his grandkids live here in the US, and he lives in Brazil. So he talks to them every day on the computer, and he tries to come up here as often as he can. I try to go back there. And then he stopped and he said, wow, that is a really tough question. Because of Rotary, my grandkids are really far away. And then he looked at this gentleman and he said, but I was in the institution that received that donation from the Rotary Foundation. And I saw all those kids that were going to benefit from this project. And I said, it's so worth it. There is a reason why we are Rotarians and how many lives we can touch, even if we don't know them. So I cried, of course. We're Brazilians, we cry a lot. I'm sure that you had exchange students from Brazil before. So now, what I'm going to present to your club is we are trying to do another project with Brazil, and that is to buy mammogram equipment. And also, again, through the help of the foundation, Mary Cassins, David, we wrote a grant for a mammogram machine, and this is going to a region of 370,000 people. This is a group of 18 cities. This population does not have access to a mammogram machine right now. And they really want to work into the prevention campaign. And so they contacted us through email asking for some help. We wrote the grant. The grant was submitted to the Rotary Foundation. It did get a grant number. But then at the end, we ran into a problem where this is an $80,000 project. And at the end, with the numbers, Brazil was giving more than 50% of the money to this project. And for this project to be approved, we have to have 50% from the US and 50% from Brazil. So we are short about $9,000 if we're going to do DDF, or $12,000 if we're going to do Money's Club. So we are going to go around to the clubs and ask if any club would like to participate in this project. It is a matching grant with the state of Paraná. And if you guys are interested, just contact me and we'll talk more about it. So I wasn't sure what was the main thing that I was going to talk to them. I said, you know what, I have plenty to talk. I can talk all day. So there are a lot of differences between the Rotary meetings here and the Rotary meetings in Brazil. Last time I was there, they told me that they were going to have a meeting at 8 o'clock. So, okay, it's 8 o'clock, I'm there, and there is nobody there. So I called my father and I said, are you sure today is the meeting? Because the building is closed, there's nobody here. He said, yeah, the meeting is there, don't worry, somebody will show up. It was about 8:30, the first person showed up there, opened the building. About 9 o'clock, everybody was there. So about 10 o'clock, we started the meeting. Then about 11, we finished the meeting. And we don't eat during the meeting, we eat after the meeting. So we left there about 1:30 in the morning after eating and drinks and talking. So it's always a big celebration. It is a very family time. Even if it's late, a lot of the kids come along. And it's normal to have a meeting like we have today and have kids running around. I was one of, not really little, but my sisters that are younger, we were always in the Rotary meetings with my parents. So for us, become a Rotarian was a natural thing, was part of us. And I don't know if anybody has any questions about Brazil or about the project. One thing before I forget, Mrs. Bell? Yes, I'm a photographer here in Horicon. If you'd like to job shadow, you're invited to come over to the studio. I can also have you spend some hours with the photojournalist in town too.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. And before I forget also, I would like to donate a photo session and an 11 by 14 for your auction for December. One thing that I would like to say about the exchange program, my sister was a very shy kid. Growing up, she was always with my mom. She never wanted to go anywhere by herself. She wouldn't speak in public. And after she was an exchange student in 1997, that really turned her life. She started speaking in public, and she moved back to Brazil, and she moved about 8 hours away from home. And I'm sure that if she hadn't had the experience of being an exchange student, it would be really hard for her being far away from home. And she did great, and now she's a doctor in Brazil. So thank you so much for the exchange program. It really One of the exchange students we had, Juan Camilo, the opportunity for him being here gave him the opportunity to go to college because of all the English he knew. He learned here, he got a scholarship to attend college, and otherwise he wouldn't be able to have gone to college. He's now done, he has an excellent job. So what you do is really, really important. Thank you so much.
We are adjourned.